All right, this is No Excuses with Michael DiLeonardo. I'm your host, RJ Roger. Michael, I want to ask you a question. It don't matter what side of the aisle you're on anymore. If you can be a leftist or you can be on the right, doesn't matter. Everybody's unhappy with the direction, not just of what's happening in the country, but what's happening around the world. It don't matter. Everybody's pissed. Um, so my question I want to ask you: our government, left or right. You can be a Democrat serving in office or a
I'm
Republican
neither.
serving.
Just for the record, I'm neither. Never was. I'm neither. I don't have a side. I'm pragmatic. I won't look at everything as face value, whatever it's worth.
Well, the people who are serving in our government, and between Senate and the House, these are some of the most highly educated people in the world, in the country. These are Ivy Leaguers. These are people that have Juris Doctorates. These are people, went to the best academic institutions in the country. A lot of them. People come out of old money. A lot of them have a lot of money, have family connections, ties into big corporations. These are well informed people, well educated people. You talk to any neighbor, you go to the grocery store, you talk to everybody's unhappy.
Yeah.
Everyone has very practical ways we can help to make this a better country, better world. Why do you think? And this is where I guess how can the most informed, educated people in the country make some of the decisions that they're making? And why would you blow up your own house that you have to live in?
Yeah.
That's what I'm always wondering.
Well, where it started, where the worst part that could ever done in politics is not having term limits. You have term limits on the president. Everybody should have term limits. Familiarity breeds contempt. No, it breeds conspiracy. Familiarity breeds conspiracies, quid pro quos, etc. When you're sitting in that seat, do me a favor, I do you a favor. Right now, it's reached the magnitude of selling out the country. As you stated, it's not a few people. It's on a mass scale. That's the scary part. This is on a mass scale. Common sense is this. For me, things that stand out today. There's a lot of things that stand out. Again, I'm not a political guy, but I have a view on our country. I'm a patriot. I feel I'm a patriot. You know, um, when you allow China to buy up our farmland, millions of acres of farmland, and some are strategic, their bases, military bases. Yeah, that's an issue in itself. But why would you give up something that's important to national security of us? Our food chain, our food supply. Huge corporations they're buying, pork companies, biggest in the world. They're buying them. We're governments letting them buy into us. They are buying things that the fabric of our country. Farmland. You have no food supply chain, you're dead. You can't feed your people. Now we know they got 1.5 billion or something, the Chinese. That, you know, they can't feed lunch every day there. They need food from everywhere else to do it. So you'll let them come in our backyard, take all the eat up all the farmlands. Again, put the military strategic conversation on the side and having them control it. Why? We feed the world. This country feeds the world. Why would you give that up?
But that's my question. But what is the why? Why would someone sell out their own country? That's what I'm always trying to figure out. Because that person who's selling out, they have children, they have grandchildren, and they're going to have people in their family tree that's going to be here long after they're here. A lot of these people are getting up there in age also. They have
Oh,
kids and grandkids to worry about. Why would they sell out their own country?
yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. It's not the people with the farm. It's like my neighborhood, Bensonhurst, where I came, Bath Beach, Bensonhurst, etc. Dyker Heights, where there's some money. People coming in and overpaying. My grandfather bought those houses. I think he paid $1,500 a piece for them. When my uncle sold the house after he passed away, his stepkid sold the house. They got over $1 million. They got the house for free. Generationally, was grandparents, parents, and kids. They took that money because the Chinese and whoever else came into the neighborhood came with extra money. They paid a lot more than everything was worth, and the kids were getting this money virtually for free. It was inheritance, these houses. They took that money and moved out of the neighborhood. So they went to New Jersey or wherever else they went, and they bought a house for half the price and put money in their pocket. So the farmer, going back to the farmer now, they're probably generations, hundreds of years in some of these farms, right from the beginning. These families were these farms were in their families. Grandkids come along and say, hey, they're going to give us how many millions for this? Oh, we're out of here. We don't want to be farming. We ain't milking no cows. You know, this is done. What they're heading with this, that when we go to sell our product, they chop us up when we get to the market. And we got to take our pants off and lower our prices, because I worked in the Hunts Point market. I know the way it works. They treat the farmers pretty bad. But they say, we're not doing this. Let's take all this money and move. We'll take it in lieu. The problem is not those people, because you can see them taking the money and running. Because they're overpaying. The Chinese are overpaying for everything just to get it all over the world, right? The problem is our government is letting it happen. These are natural resources. This is secured. Major national security issues is farmland. If I was there, my thing would be, oh, that's very nice. We're going to give you back your money. See you later. It was a mistake. You're out. I give the Chinese, whoever it is, whatever corporation they get, whatever Americans they put up front on Front Street, they know who owns it. I give them their money back. Tell them, no, thank you. See you later. Restaurants down the block if you want to go eat. You can't have the farm. We'll bring it. You know what they should do with those farms? Then the United States government, again, this is how I think. See all the immigrants coming in? We can't do nothing about it right now. It's too late. Right? They're here. You see, they want to talk about reparations, right? Give it to them. Let the government give it to them, subsidize them, give them the farms, let them earn a living, and supply the nation with product. You know, we have farms that are not allowed to grow certain stuff in this country. They get paid. The farmer gets paid not to grow. Did you know that?
No.
True. Yeah.
I'm not surprised though.
They can fact check me. It's been going on forever. They get paid not to grow. So I would give it to that. Let's take care of the people there. Take it away from the Chinese. Give them their money back. See you later, and give it to them. Find a way to give it to the people that need to work. So the strategic point to this, why? Again, you're going back to your question is, why are we doing it? The relationships that were built, right, with overseas companies, they're all compromised. These politicians are compromised. There's no question, because they're too smart to understand that. Now, as a patriot, a lot of these politicians have a lot of money. They came in broke and going out worth tens of millions. Tell me how that's done. But that's a whole other subject. But they're coming in, their bellies are full. How do you still sell out your country? To me, that's a sellout. Everybody I talk to that brings this up, a lot of people, like you said, are really disgusted. It's talked about all over where I am. Really.
But that's their plausible deniability. That's what they use for plausible deniability. Why would I sell out my own country? My kids have to live here. I have plenty of money. It's a good. I mean, I have money. I'm serving my country. I'm doing a noble thing. I'm doing a patriotic service. Being here in government, making 100 and whatever thousand a year, 220,000. I could be in private sector making 10 times that amount or whatever. So that's how they get their escape. What do you mean? Why would I sell out my own country?
Their escape falls flat, because the common sense person would say, then stop it. Don't make some kind of ordinance or mandate that they can't buy farmland. No other country could come here and buy farmland. It's national security. If people want to sell the farms, the government should buy them out and give it to somebody. We're giving away billions and trillions of dollars. It costs us $1 trillion to stay in Afghanistan. What we do? We gave up the biggest lithium deposit in the world to the Chinese right now with Afghanistan. So where are we going? Social Security. It took since I'm a little kid to talk about not having Social Security. Really? You're spending trillions of dollars all over the world. We can't give Social Security to people who work 15, 60 years. We're going to scare these people? That we keep every year somebody wants to take Social Security away. Somebody wants to lessen the payment. What? You're giving the money away all over the world. These are common sense issues that the people are really getting upset about, and our politicians really don't care. They really don't. Their pockets are full, their bellies are full, and nobody's got the balls to step up and say stop. There's very few, but it just falls flat after a while. It falls flat because there's no motive to stop, real motive to stop this. This is common sense. You don't let somebody come in and eat out of your refrigerator, do you? Your next door neighbor come in and eat out of your refrigerator. The refrigerator is not going to be no more food. The guy next door ate it.
The whole Social Security thing, that's just, I always say, that's boogeyman effect that both parties use to attack the other. And the whole debt thing, I'm a little suspicious of it. I always say, if you yourself, no matter how much you run your credit cards up or how much you run up your debt, if you have a money printing machine in your back room, this country can print unlimited money. It's not backed by anything. You can print as much as you want. So if you have $1 million in debt, but you have unlimited access to printing money, do you really have any debt? You can always just print some more. Every time it's time to pay a bill, why do you have to stress? Oh, fuck, the bill's due this month. Oh, hey, go hit the button and print me up enough to pay the bill. So I'm always a little bit leery about the whole debt thing because the country will always just keep printing money. And now they just do it even in a digital way. I watched that before where they just log in and let's make us have this much now. So,
right. RJ, you're 100% right because they taught that debt ceiling. Sounds nice, right? Debt ceiling. But when they talked about $1 trillion in debt, when Clinton left, right? Clinton left us in the black. We had surplus. After I was out, it was always like $1 trillion in debt. Oh my God. The country's, it's going to 5, 10, 9, 12, 15, 30. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter anymore. Like you just said. Think about this. If you go back 20 years, right? You say we're going to be in 20 years, we're going to be $30 trillion in debt. You will go, oh my God, we're going to be in a major depression.
Yeah.
Here's 30 trillion. What is it now? We don't even know what it is. Do they even tell us the truth?
Because it doesn't mean anything. These guys know it. Now, it's a way to keep all of us fighting. It's a way to attack each side. Because both sides, whoever's in power, the other guy complains about how much they spent. And then when that guy's out of power, they complain about how much this person spends. You hear it all the time. Both whoever's the party out of power is complaining about debt and spending. Everyone becomes very fiscally responsible when they're out of power. But when they're in power, they all spend all the money they could possibly spend. So I don't know. It's hard for me to even take this debt thing on because 30 trillion, there's no way to have $30 trillion in debt and not. How do you keep a country with that kind of debt? If you really had to pay the debt, that's the thing. But when you can just hit a button, I need $1 trillion. How'd you pass out $6 trillion during the damn pandemic?
Right. Disgrace.
How can you do that?
Disgrace.
I mean, come on. The whole country should have went into depression. You closed down every business. You can't shut down the whole national economy and not go into a recession. How's it happen? We were buying more stuff during the pandemic than ever before, and there was no business opens and no one was going to work.
It's true, and they keep saying their grandkids are going to pay. Well, again, this is the same story we've been hearing. When the first $1 trillion number was, I remember when they said it. We're going to be $1 trillion in debt. What? Then they go in Afghanistan. You stay there 18 years, and you spend $1 trillion, but you threaten everybody. Social Security is going to end. You're going to put people out in the street. You're scaring them. Yeah. College loans. Why is the interest rate? Why is there even an interest rate with a college loan? We could talk all day long. Well, if the government wanted to help, no interest or 1%. just to cover paperwork. And
You know what's funny? It's so I never thought about that. That's an interesting idea, because it's this whole debate over student loan forgiveness and stuff like that. But if you just didn't charge an interest and people just paid back the principal, they would cut their debts in half. If you borrow, I mean, when you go on these long plans with the government,
right?
You're tripling what you owe. So if you owe 60 principal and you go on a 10-year payment plan, you're doubling the amount you have to pay back. You would give everybody if you just said pay the principal back that you borrowed. That's actually a good idea. I never thought about that.
You know, that would be a great thing. What about all these colleges that got billions? I know there's one college, I don't know if it's Harvard, Yale, or one of them, got 29 billion in their coffers. What are they doing?
One of those Ivy League.
Why is it sitting there? Why are they taking giving scholarships to kids that come out of high school, they can't afford it, and let them go to Harvard or Yale or Stanford, right? Or the prestigious schools. You really want to help society? You want to make a lot of doctors? You want to make a lot of nurses in the medical? We're important doctors from all over the world. We can't make a doctor and a nurse here anymore. Why? It's too restrictive. You got to pay those loans back.
$500,000 of loans to be a medical doctor. Yeah. Coming out of school with $500,000 of debt to go to medical school. It's unreal. Let me ask you one final question about this. And I don't look at it as a political thing. I just look at it as a practical discussion. But one of the things that came out of the Trump administration that I really liked was when he was talking about he really tried to take on these tariff things and these companies that are just shipping all the jobs overseas. And he said, the days are over where you're going to build a company, build your manufacturing, sit a manufacturing facility just across the border and then ship all your goods back into this country without a tariff. You're selling out your country. And he was telling this to businessmen. Now, which I like that idea. To me, it's patriotic to have jobs in manufacturing in your country. But do you think we should even allow that, to have goods that we need to have? Why would we put our businesses in other countries? It's the same as the farmland discussion. Why would you put businesses in other countries?
Do you know
businesses?
Do you know people from out of the country that belong to, let's say, Germans, right? I was in a restaurant one night, and we met a couple from Germany, very nice people, and they have a business, a warehouse in Tennessee, and they're subsidized by our government to come here. They pay them. They got all kinds of tax breaks to come here and do something. But our own people, they don't do that for. We can't get that break. But it begs another question. Again, another national security issue for us is prescription medicine. Why can't we make pills here? We can't make antibiotics here. We're short across the board. I just read an article on cancer medicine. We can't make it here. We can't make a pill here. Yeah, they opened up my cabinet, and one of the boxes said made in China. I threw it right in the garbage. Made in China. Everything's made in China. All our prescription medicines, just about antibiotics, etc., all the important stuff is made over. That's not national security. Nothing should be made in another country. It should be right here. We got the greatest scientists in the world, don't we? We have all the money in the world. We make $1 trillion in Afghanistan. $6 trillion to give everybody money to stay home. Build plants all over the country. Subsidize them. Give all those incentives to our people.
But again, this isn't a plan or an idea that takes a Harvard grad to figure out. And that's what I'm trying to say to you. This is a very practical thing. If you ship the job to that country, now there's a deficit of jobs in your country. That's simple math. You could have a first grader do that, compute that number for you. And the more and more that keep going, the less and less jobs we have here. And then when you implement AI and robotics and all this stuff, and you're essentially eliminating the middle class in this country, where it's harder and harder to survive. So why is what I'm always saying. They know this. These politicians have to know that this is not good for the long-term health of our country.
No, 100%. Again, is it just the money, or they're just selling out our country? Because again, after the COVID with the pills, gowns, masks, we had to wait for China to send us masks and gowns. The country where it started from, that nobody wanted to acknowledge, right? Only a few people were trying to acknowledge it. The origins, and the origins, it didn't matter at that time. What was matter is how do we get healthy as a country? Let's solve this. But we didn't have the medicine or the protective gear at that time because it was unknown what was going on. No matter what these people got up and said, nobody really knew. There was a factor that knew. I think there was a vaccine. That's a whole other thing. Conspiracy theory. Yes, I think there was a vaccine at that time. But we had to depend on other countries for antibiotics, for all our medicines. For a mask, we can't make a mask in this country. Come on. During World War II, the lipstick factories became a factory to make bullets. Michigan, Detroit, they became making Jeeps. Ohio, they made Jeeps. They made tanks. We can mobilize this country. We're the greatest country in the world in industry. There it was. Steel, make everything you want. We didn't even make steel anymore. All the steel plants were closed. How do you not have steel? What happens if you go to war? And have we really stopped being at war with somebody somewhere around the world, proxy or not? The war machine is a money machine. For some, not for the populace, not for us. Goes into somebody. So it seems political, but it's really not. These are national security issues that people really need to open their eyes because we're being lied to. When you need medicine for your kid, look at all that time with the kids that have no medicine. How can it be possible? When is the urgency to say, hey, wait a minute? It's like you said, a lot of smart people. Right now, there's thousands of smart people, right? How can you not say, our people can't get an aspirin? We can't get antibiotic. We
can't
baby
formula.
Oh, they poisoned it. The Chinese poisoned it at that time.
But I thought that was going to be
somebody put it on a plane and bring it here. You got to be kidding me.
I thought that was going to be the wake up call, though, because the one thing that everyone's unified on is we love our freaking kids. I mean, I don't care who you are,
and pets. And pets. What about when they poison the pet food, melamine in our food, killing our cats and our dogs?
But when you don't have formula, that's an embarrassment. That's the problem. Yeah. I always say this. I would love to watch the news in other countries on what they say about us.
I do.
I would love to see, just watch what sit in someone's living room in a different country and watch their television and see, hey, breaking news. Did you guys know there's no baby formula in America? Did you guys know there's no mask? They're tying rags around their face in hospitals right now.
Right. You're right. And I do. I prowl a lot of other news outlets all over the world. And, you get a different perspective how people view us. Absolutely. And there's some tidbits in there that's never in our news about us. There was something, I forget the article was in the BBC. I think I sent it to you. That was not reported in this country. I think if you look in your emails, you'll find it. I forget what it was. But it was pretty important. And we're not being told.
Yeah.
It's the news. And I think most people will agree with me, and you also, because we do talk about this. All these cable outlets, they're propaganda machines. They became sounding boards. It's all about divide and get people fired up on both sides, and the ratings go up. Why are they always talking about ratings up, ratings down? My ratings are better than your ratings. What about the country? Who cares about ratings at this point? You really care about ratings? I don't care about their ratings. Tell
That's the biggest problem. That's a big problem.
They can't get it. Look, everybody on a Democrat, Republican, whatever you may be, you can't say, hey, wait a minute, fellas, ladies. We have no antibiotics. Can we get along and write something, get together and say, let's subsidize whatever big company come here and put different plants in the states that really need help with employment. Let's make this. Let's give them $500 million to build a plant. 500. Where's 500 million today's size? It's like throwing a hubcap around. Here you go. Yeah, here's 500.
It's like digging in a change jar.
Exactly.
The government change jar, 500 million. I lost that in the government cushions, the cushions in Congress.
Why aren't we doing that? Why didn't we learn that? Why didn't we learn that as a society, as a people? Look, you and I are talking, and like I said, like everybody I know is talking about it. Well, you got to be kidding me. You know, our farmland we're giving away.
The problem, though, Michael, is news shouldn't be. I always say, like, whenever you put a for-profit on something, you create, like, news shouldn't be for entertainment. It should be to keep the public informed. It shouldn't not. I mean, if you have to make the news clickbait the way we do a show, that's a problem. That's a real problem. Some things have to be for the good of the country. And having a dumb country, people don't know nothing. That's a problem. This thing here is the worst thing that has ever happened, I think, to put these in children's hands.
Yeah.
You know, it's really scary to me that we give, like, you know, all the world's information is now in our pocket. I always say, like, if you just went back just 30 years ago, 40 years ago, if you wanted to know who, like, the 28th president was, you didn't drive to your local library, go to a little card holder, pull out the card, look for the card, go to an aisle, go up a ladder, and hope you find the right book.
Encyclopedia.
Go to the page, and hopefully it's there. Now you say, who's the 28th president? And we have access to so much information. It's information overload. And you don't know what to believe anymore. You don't know what's true, what's not true.
Instantaneous. That's how fast the world is. Instantaneous.
Yeah.
This information. And you know what? What happens when they put the wrong information in? And that's what we're indoctrinated to believe.
And that's the other thing. Anybody can put anything online. Right. Anybody can be a news source now. Anybody can say anything. And there's nobody checking the checker.
Yeah, if you want to watch the news, watch the local news, see what cat got caught up in the tree, who had an accident, and what the weather's going to be. And that's probably the most accurate stuff you're going to get. When you go into these cable networks, it's just a matter of a battle of ratings and, you know, one pitted against the other. And that's all it's about, because you're never going to get the unvarnished truth from these outlets. It's all about keeping the country not united, divided. The United States of America, it's the divided states of America, cause to these propaganda outlets on both sides. And like I said, I don't have a side. I never had a side, never want a side. I think, again, another thing I think there should be, I know we're going long-winded. We could talk about this for days, like everybody else does, days. But
I'll put this show out on Sunday when everyone watches the Sunday shows. How's that?
Yeah, so they got to hear news from these guys too. Now get them off. Now they want to start. But why can't we just pass a single line item on something? Why does it have to be a peanut farm over there gets 80 million and we're going to talk about something else on this one? But they got to be together. Why can't we say, wait a minute, we don't get along on that item? All right? The house is divided. We don't get along on that, but we get along here. Oh, no, we ain't passing nothing then. There could be 50 things in there, but we're not passing because we don't get along on a few. All right, so I'll sit there. And American people sit around like this. You can't pass the ones you agree on?
The problem is you can't bury your promises in a small bill.
That's it. That's the problem. There you go.
And they all made promises to their donors. And if you ever really looked at the detail of a bill that gets passed, they will say, oh, we just passed a big highway bill. You should look at the highway bill to what they passed. It'll be shit in there for some museum project, some goddamn public park somewhere, some damn. It's all these little hidden things that you have no idea was even put in there.
That's the problem. That's part of the bureaucracy. That's part of the quid pro quo. Look, if Italians did that, or any other group did that wasn't in the government, you'd be getting arrested with a RICO charge. It's all conspiracy. That's a conspiracy to me.
Yeah.
And no question. When you could make a deal, you know it's not good for the country just because the other side wants it, or you're giving them something. That giving stuff, it should never be. Call it for what it is. You want to battle over it? Battle over it. But the other stuff, just let's pass it because it's simple. And there are a lot of simple things that they could pass to help this country. Look at barcodes. Barcode? I thought Obama passed the bill. Everything's got to say where the country of origin, not packed in or trying to figure out what the numbers, the code is on the barcode. You don't know what the stuff you're ingesting in your body. Everybody watches labels say, "Oh, this expires. There's a sell-by date." This is, but they don't really know where the food you're eating is coming from. They don't even tell you on there anymore. Very few, unless it's made in the United States. They'll print "Made in the USA." It's a good marketing plan, and I would buy everything in the United States. I won't buy nothing from overseas except for wine, Italian wine.
You know what that means, though? Even made in the USA, you can buy all this shit from different countries and then assemble it here and call it made in the USA. It's really, if you look at like what organic food actually means, it can be largely non-organic, but long as a certain percentage of it, I believe, and then you can call it this. Made in the USA is a very specious name, made in the USA. A lot of the components, though, are not made in the USA. A lot of what they might ship it all here and assemble it, but that's not made in the USA.
That's right. You can do that. I think that happened under the Trump administration with Mexico, and there was X amount of percentage had to be made in the United States to call it an American product. But most of the parts, and then they changed it to 75%, I believe, had to be made in the U.S. You could get 25% from somewhere else, and I think it was Mexico at the time that supplied that. That went into that tariff issue that you were talking about earlier. Oh yeah, go right back. Why shouldn't we know where everything is made, not packed in, not assembled in? Where does our food come from? Where? Our supply chain of food. I want to know where if I buy a can of something, where it comes from. A can of beans, where's it come from?
They don't tell you because you wouldn't eat it.
Yeah, you bet your ass.
If we knew how food was even made, there's laws that don't allow cameras to be shown in certain food manufacturing facilities because they don't want you to see how it's being. And you can be arrested if you want to sneak a camera into certain food manufacturing because no one would eat the shit if you saw how it was actually being prepared. People look at like a piece of steak and they think like, oh, this was like a nice farm animal outside eating grass. Them things are made like the same way that you make a sneaker. You take these animals into a manufacturing facility. These things are bred to die. They're made like in factories. They never see the light of day. They never see, the way they even make food. If we knew how our food was made, we'd be in the streets. If we knew a lot of real shit, that's why we fight so much. Both sides make you hate your friends so much. And you argue all day. These fucking Republicans, these fucking Democrats, you argue all day long with them and no one looks up. You don't look up at what these guys are doing up here because you're so focused on your neighbor has the wrong flag or the wrong yard sign or the wrong whatever, and you're fighting him all day and nobody's paying attention to what these people are doing. It's party unity there.
That's right. No, I agree, and I don't know what it's going to take for this country to wake up. Again, the thing that hit me the most is farmland and our prescription medicine. That we have zero control over it. Minute percentage. They from what I heard, they took a lot of this away from Puerto Rico. They made a lot of our medicines there, and they brought it over to China. And Puerto Rico is a commonwealth of ours. And why take it away from them? They needed that in their economy. So, we could talk all day long, like the rest of the Americans are talking all day long. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't think anybody has the answer. I don't think anybody.
I know the answer.
Go ahead.
We need a depression. We need pain again. Pain is always blocked now by whenever the country could go through something that could make people change and be more financially responsible, make people be more socially aware, make people care more about their country, be more patriotic. Before, having a war changed you at a time. If the country was in war, it made you a different person. You saw pain. You saw what was happening to going through a major economic problem. The Great Depression, our grandparents were different people. They hid shit in their walls. They didn't trust banks. They didn't use credit. They lived at the most low level because they knew at any they've been through that pain. There's no pain no more. The pain's always pass a stimulus. Whenever there's pain that can change people, they step in and say, "Here, take this pain pill." They give you a check every month. They give you a bill out. They forgive your loan. They help. They save the.
You know where that goes. You know where that's the stepping stone to communism. Control you. Gas stoves. What is this about not having a gas stove? They don't want nobody to have a barbecue, and nobody want to have a gas stove. What is that? One day, if you have all your books, all your pictures, all your phone number, everything, your whole life is in here. If it gets erased, you just erased history. You have no hard copy. Say, hey, this is me when I was 5. Look, that's my grandmother. Oh, remember this book? I still got this book. Well, I have books that were passed out. Music.
Yeah.
You got a record? You got a record player?
You
can't play no music.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all iTunes. You shut that off, you can't even listen to music.
Everything will be digitized. No question.
And you know what? It takes one time to scrub, and you got nothing. One shutdown. It's over. You got nothing.
Well, the main fear is cybersecurity. To me, I always say we're worried about a bomb hitting the country. No, a major hit to this country is a cyber attack.
Mm-hmm.
You can take money. You can mess up people's banking, mess up people's bank accounts. You can shut down, air conditioned systems in schools, daycares, hospital facilities. You have all these medical records now that they're all digitized. A cyber attack would be something that could cost. You talk about stock trades and stuff like that. I think there was a hit in New York where it was just down for all these businesses that are all online. Our business is online. You could really, a cyber attack could cause severe damage in this country. Severe damage. A cyber attack. Forget about the bomb. The bomb isn't the way you attack people anymore. It's cyber. It's how you can attack someone.
Or pandemic.
There you go. I agree.
No buildings fall down. People just die.
We could go all night with this.
Yeah. All right, it's been fun. And if anybody, after they watch this, want to engage in a live, maybe we do a live on it. We won't get political. We won't pick sides. We won't curse politicians, even though a lot of them should be cursed. But they know they should be cursed themselves. But if we can have a healthy, robust debate on some of these core issues that affects the country, it would be nice.
I agree. If everyone just didn't name what they were, didn't name the party that they're going, if you just talked about the issues, you'll be very surprised how we all kind of agree. I always say that. We will all really kind of agree.
That's right.
We don't debate which side's better or worse. 100%. Yeah. So
yeah, I agree.
We'll drop this on a Sunday when everyone's at home watching the news, and we'll take some ratings from those big companies. All right, Michael. Guys, leave comments, leave feedback. Should we do this again? Should we get Michael to talk about current events and different things? We'll call this a test show. How's that, Michael? We'll do a test show.
Oh, we have another one in the archives also, right?
I'm gonna put that one out. So I'll put this one out and I'll put the other one out. We'll see what people think. So maybe we can do like a monthly state of the country or something from Michael DiLeonardo.
We'll do that.
So maybe every month we'll do something.
Philosophical conversations are very nice. They're stimulating.
Yeah, I agree. All right, guys. Leave comments, leave feedback. Michael will respond. Michael, close it out.
God bless everyone. Stay well. Keep your head straight. And God bless America, since this was a patriotic show.
Yes. Take care, guys. Peace and love.